when I was like 15, 16, teenager. And I would say stuff like, I was with my mentor a lot. I chill with him a whole lot. And I would say stuff like, people ask, so what are you going to school to study? Or what do you want to be? I was like, I'm trying to figure out what I want to be for the rest of my life. They'll be like, what you doing now?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to be in life. And then people who were like 40 and 50 was like, I'm still taking time trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that the earlier you decide, I think you should pick like the coolest thing you see and just decide to go after it. Because, yeah, anything short of it is still really good. You know what I mean? It's if that thing is the coolest thing you see. And never think you can possibly fail. But anything above that, then you're creating something new that the world hasn't seen yet.
That's also more special.
Yeah, way more special. I believe that.
Do you think you're always, that's a pretty positive outlook. Were you always like that?
Yeah, positive. I've always been positive. Always. I think my positive comes from arrogant ego.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's like I've never thought I could lose. Even when I was in high school and I used to sit on the bench doing basketball games, I used to still think I was better than all the players on the court. No, seriously. I used to just be like, I just don't get my opportunities to show my skills. But I used to always think that. Always. I used to always think I was better than everybody.
Where do you think that came from?
I think it comes from a lot of places, but I think it's my coping mechanism. I really do think that. I think it's my way of coping. Like, so my father died before I was born. And I think my way of coping was me always telling myself, you're good enough. You're good enough. Like, you're good enough.
Right.
Nothing went wrong in your life. And don't try to dwell on something that you've never had. And always strive to be better. So even like sitting on a bench, I used to always say, but one day I'm going to be better than all of them. Even if I'm not right now, I just believe in my head that I at least could be. I've always believed that. So I think that's what it is. I think it's just a way of coping. I do. I really do.
Way to cope. It's a very good way. It's a good result versus, I'm sure, a lot of people in a similar situation would almost go for the opposite, right?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't understand negativity, or I don't understand why be negative with yourself. And this is my reasoning. If things are bad, then why don't you think about things being good? Because I read a book, and I don't know this lady's name. I want to figure out what this lady's name is, and I need to talk to her now that I'm an adult. But when I went to college, my freshman year, when I was 16, I started this business, right? I was running this little business, making my little money. But when I went to college my freshman year, the teacher asked, what do you want to be? And I told her, I want to be a billionaire entrepreneur. I told her that. And she just kind of like, I don't think she shunned me or anything. And I said it so confidently that she knew I was serious. And I didn't think much of it. It was just like, yeah, I've always wanted to be this. When I was in high school, I used to tell people this. And the next day, she comes to school, literally the very next class, not the next day. I had her class 3 days a week in Wheeler Hall at Morehouse. She comes to school the next class period with a bag of books. Like the receipt is still in the bag and everything. A bag of books and audiobooks. And one of those books was James Allen's As a Man Thinketh. And that book, As a Man Thinketh, is one of my favorite books. And it's a short book, like 100 pages, really, really skinny. I read it at least once a year. I either read it or listen to it on audiobook at least once a year. And James Allen, like one of the things he says is, you can never pick your circumstances, but you can always pick your thoughts. And that resonated with me.
Yeah.
That resonated with me. I've always thought I'm good enough. I'm in a good situation. I'm blessed. I'm lucky to be who I am. I've always thought that. And again, it's a ignorant arrogance or ignorant ego. That's where it roots from. But I think I would choose to have that rather than born into a rich family, or I would choose to have that rather than any other attribute. Because I think if you believe in yourself, and if you believe that you're special in some way, then you'll always know that the state you're in now is just temporary.
It's incredibly, it's a precious gift for sure to be able to have that and withstand a lot of difficult challenges with a positive outlook on life.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, versus someone who has everything but is very negative or more critical of themselves. It's like you're living a tragedy within this like beautiful world, which is so sad to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some people use criticism and negativity, or one would say negativity is a way to continually better yourself, but in a way that controls. It's like, I don't know, I think it's an output of control, like, because you constantly see the bad, so that way you know you can expect the worst,
Mm-hmm.
and you pinpoint like what is wrong, so that way you can either try to fix it, or so you can know and understand, like, I know the whole picture. And that's a form of, I think that's a form of control.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different reasons why people are like that, but that's something that I've found. I'm the complete opposite. I'm pretty negative. And it's so funny because I'm sitting here with you. I've been talking to my therapist about it for like a month now, and we just kind of broke through yesterday. So crazy. Yeah. But I think mine really comes. You talked about like arrogance or ignorance and arrogance, but and your circumstance. And I think mine was definitely born from circumstance, but more so from my relationship with my parents.